Hello again and welcome back to Sosnovka, Sovkhoz, episode 2 with me, Mr. CLP. Right, you join me at the end of another mammoth logging session. It's not that mammoth, to be fair, using the Scorpion King. It's actually relatively easy. Anyway, this will probably be the last tree if it moves. Sometimes I just get a bit caught up between the others. And then I'm going to put them all into the sell point. Straighten up a little bit if I can. Now, I can't remember if at the end of the last episode or not. I bought or showed you a new piece of machinery. I did talk about it, or talk about the possibility of it, but I can't remember whether I bought it or not. Anyway, I have. Did it off screen, or I might have done it off screen, I can't remember. But here it is. I bought the New Holland wheel loader. We will see how it works out power wise. I mean, if it transpires that it really is really bad, then I will get the JCB one. The JCB one I've used before on other maps and it works really well. It's got a lot of power. It's just whether or not this has got enough oomph to push the piles of logs or not. Doesn't seem too bad actually, to be fair. He says. Oh, let's get in there. Yeah, I don't know, it seems a little bit underpowered. It's not a huge amount of difference, and this is 195 horsepower. The JCB's 230, I think, so it's not a massive difference, but maybe it makes a difference, who knows. But anyway, that's what I've got, the wheel loader. Like I said, I've never used this one before on any of my maps. Time to give it a try. But, not bad. The money is building. We will pull the trigger on this load and send the train. And we should have a tidy bit of money there. And then hopefully we will be ready for our next purchase. That's not bad actually, I like that. Long reach. Not as long as a telehandler, but not bad. Quite like that. It's an interesting shade of yellow. But on the whole, happy with my purchase. So, what we'll do then is send the train off, do a little bit more logging while we're waiting for that money to go when the train gets to the Lumberyard, wherever it's going to. See where we stand financially before making the next decision. There it goes. God, this rain is incessant. So we're carving out a nice little chunk out of the trees here. At some point I'm going to start planting some more, but yes, we're making a dent. So next little pile building up. There we go. Payment from the Lumberyard. Takes up over 500,000. That's not bad. So, time for next purchase. First bit of proper farming equipment. Because we've got a field already to harvest that we start the game off with. What we're going to need to do is harvest that field. Then we can get some more crops in and start our process of seeding, fertilising and harvesting. But what to buy? Now, it's a big-ish map. There are some small fields, but there are some quite big fields. I'm not starting off with tiny harvesters because I sold the in-game one and it went a different way about it. I've got enough money. I'm going straight for a big harvester, the biggest. So I'm going to get the New Holland CR1090. I've said before many times on different on the different maps, on the different videos I've done, I do like the New Hollands, really nice. I'm going to get the big header because it comes with its own header trailer built in, so it's a no-brainer. That's going to be the one pretty much every time. So, first purchase: new combine harvester, new header, first bit of farming equipment. So we will head over in a little bit and move that down to the field ready to harvest, and as soon as the rain stops, if the rain stops, we will start harvesting. If it doesn't let up for a while, I may well fast forward time just a little bit, just so we can get some nice weather and get on with some harvesting. Get the first bit done anyway. Finish off this little load and sell it. So, right, that last load sold about 70,000, just over 74 I think it says. But if I'm going to do a harvest, I need a trailer. I've got nothing to put it into to take it to sell. So I'm not going to go with the Flegel to start off with. I'm going to go with the one that's a little bit bigger. The Agro line is a little bit too big for tractors unless you've got a big tractor, which I might well buy later on the map. I think I might go with the New Holland T9, I think. I'm going to cheat and reset it rather than go and get it. Just to save a modicum of time. So there we go. We have our tractor and trailer. We have our combine harvester. We now need to get that down to the field, ready to harvest. Do like this harvester. It's a good one. I think I've used most of them now. I don't often use the TC590, the small New Holland, because it is quite small. You generally start off the map with the Comia, sometimes I think the TC5, and relatively quickly, once you build up a bit of money, I generally move on to a bigger one. I have used both of the case axial flows, but this has got the biggest capacity, got, big header, so I tend to go for this one. Looking forward to the Massey Fergusons in FS17. That should be quite cool, different brand to try. I think I've said it before, but it's a pity there's no John Deere's. I mean, there's all sorts of companies that make harvesters, but it'd just be interesting trying out some different ones. But that being said, I do like me a good New Holland. Right, that was marginally faster than it would be normally. Right, line that up, unhook, and I will swing round and put the header on. It's a very unusual feeling today. It's raining on screen. It's pouring with rain outside as I'm recording this, so I've got a kind of extra sound effects. It's very realistic where I'm sitting. A bit unusual. Right, so I'm good to go. It's a good looking harvester. It's a big machine, but then there are some big fields and big open spaces on this map, so yeah, I like it. as I said before, if you've seen any of my other gameplay series, if you've watched my Harvester buying guide, you'll have seen it before. It's nothing new. This is the first time you've seen one of my gameplays, or you're new to the game, full stop. That might be your first look at it, but yeah, it's a good harvester. Expensive though, 430,000 and then 79,000 for the header, so it's not a cheap one. You do have to build up quite a head of money. I am probably going to replace this tractor at some point as well. I said before, the Fluter's brilliant. I mean, cheap as chips, 150 horsepower, brilliant bit of kit. But as you start to build your farm up and you're getting bigger trailers with heavier loads, it will pull it, but it does look a bit out of size. The scale seems a bit wrong. I mean, the scale's fine. The trailer really is that big and the tractor really is that big. It just looks a bit of an odd combination. So, oh, this rain's doing my head in. I may well need to skip forward. Yeah, so I'll probably get another tractor at some point to pull the trailers once I've built up enough money. Okay, jumping ahead ever so slightly. Jumped in the telehandler. Done a bit of logging away from the lumberyard, along the side of the road away from the lumberyard. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I'm trying out what I do with the skid steer. I've never done it with the telehandler before, but rather than use a log fork on the telehandler, I'm using the manure grab. Grab, what do you want to call it? Manure fork. The tines on the manure forks are much thinner. I've said this before when I use the skid steer. Much thinner, and I find they can get under logs a lot easier. I don't know how effectively this will work with logs, because when you close this one, it's a very big manure fork. Whether the logs are going to slip out or not, but because it's wide, it might give you a more balanced sort of platform to hold them. I often find if you use the log fork, unless you get it right in the centre of gravity, right where it needs to be, it tilts one way or the other. I didn't know whether or not this would work better. I don't know. It's worth a try anyway. Thought I'd have a go, see if it works. I would imagine probably in real life, because the tines are very thin and it is designed for manure, if you tried to pick up logs and trees with it, you'd probably bend them very easily and end up breaking your manure fork. But if it works, I'm going to give it a go, repurposing a piece of equipment for something else. So as you can see, I have been along the side of this road aggressively logging. I did that earlier on with the Scorpion King. Went along up along the hillside a little bit, taking trees down and sort of dropping them off the edge, piling them all up. So now it's collection time. I am probably going to buy a truck at some point as well. Probably just one. I don't often have many on the map. I'll probably get the Tatra again, the Phoenix, only because it's actually cheaper than the Man, I think. Higher horsepower, and it's got a trailer hitch. Not obviously, it's got a trailer hitch for truck trailers, but it's got one for a lot of the other trailers, so it can hook up all sorts of trailers. So I tend to go for that one. So at some point I'll invest in one of those, but at the moment the tractor's doing fine. It's pulling it no problem. So it's not a necessity at the moment, but later on I will buy one just because it looks better. I prefer it with a lorry or truck on the front. So our trailer is filling. It takes a little bit of time, but we're getting there. Like I said, I'm not going to do all the logging on screen because it's going to drive up the wall. Just trying to tidy up these piles. They all kind of fell off the side of that little hillside you can see there. And I'm just trying to neaten them up a little bit. One thing I have found with this manure fork is you can get a couple of logs in at a time, which speeds it up. I mean, you can on the other one as well, don't get me wrong, but they tend to go a little bit skewed sometimes. Okay, last load in here, I think. Maybe not. I'll let my OCD take over now. There's the way OCD people do things, and then there's the wrong way. I'm kidding. Or am I? I could have just picked that log up, to be fair, and taken it on its own, but try and sort of tidy these piles up a little bit, because once that trailer's full, I'm probably going to get one more load in that. I'll come back for those last ones. If I can make my life a little bit easier loading, spend a bit of time now tidying the piles up, it makes my life a bit easier later on when it comes to loading them up. Right, this will be the last load, these two. I've backed myself into a bit of a corner here, but I will get myself out. Okie dokie. Just thinking the Lumberyard area is filling up with equipment. I've got quite a bit of stuff over there now. I probably will repurpose some of this equipment. So once the farm's up and running, I often have a couple of telehandlers, a couple of skid steers for doing various jobs. Depends how often I keep coming back over to do lumber. If I use that as my main profit, I might do silage again, I don't know. But anyway, right, that's the last load in there. We will head over to the lumberyard to sell this load. Just close it up. Right, very gently so I don't lose this load. Shouldn't do, just in case. More totes back to the lumberyard. It's not too far to drive. We'll get ready to unload. This last bit of audio I am recording later. I'm adding this on. This has been added on only because when I came to editing, I had a big chunk of recording missed off the end of this clip, and I don't know why. So I will apologise now for that. It was not meant to happen. You'll see why when we get to that point. So this is kind of additional to that. Never mind. I lost a bit of audio that went with it as well. I don't know what happened. Bit of a hiccup, but not to worry. Oh, bit of wobble there. Anyway. Right. As I said before, a lot of vehicles are here in the lumberyard. The sell point doesn't always recognise the fact there are logs because the trailer sits quite high off the ground. So what I will often do is get the trailer into position and then using the wheel loader, sometimes the telehandler. I think I did it on the Down on the Farm series when I did some logging. Get the telehandler or the wheel loader and tip the trailer over. I know it's not the best way of doing things, and I suppose technically you should just get the wheel loader back in and unload it with the wheel loader into the sell point. I know there are a lot of mods where you can automatically load and unload off the trailer and that kind of thing, which would be, you know, it looks a little bit better, if not realistic. And doing it this way probably isn't the way it should be done. Unfortunately, the reason I apologise is that when I got to the point where I tip the trailer over and sell all the logs, that bit's missing. So I apologise. But anyway, other than that, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. We bought a few bits of farming equipment, ready to start our farming. And the series continues. Look forward to seeing you next time. And thanks for watching.